Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today I'm going to be doing a book review on Simon Thorn and the Viper's Pit by Aimee Carter. This is the second book in the Simon Thorn series, which follows a boy named Simon Thorn, who in the first book finds out that he is an animal gam and his whole family are animal gams, which means that they are able to turn into different types of animals. In the animal gam world, there are 5 different kingdoms: mammals, birds, reptiles, things that live in the water, and insects/arachnids. I did a book review on the first book, so I'll leave that up in the card symbol and you can check that out if you want to know more about the series in general. I'm going to keep this book review as spoiler-free as possible, but there might be just a couple of things that you will be able to infer from this review that would affect your experience of the first book. As per usual with my book reviews, I'm going to go through my pros, my cons, give you my rating, and be done. This book actually comes out in February, so I'm posting this about a month early so you can read the first book and be ready for when the second book comes out to immediately pick it up and read it. My first pro of this book is going to be that it kept the things that I really liked about the first book going. It's very fast-paced, it's very adventure-driven, very fun. I felt like Simon continued with his characterization of being extremely family-oriented and family-driven and trying to keep the ones that he believes are family safe and close to him. And I also think that it did a very good job of keeping Simon naive. He isn't this amazing adventurer now that he's gone through the trials of the first book. He is still making mistakes a little bit and he still has a lot to learn, and I really liked that consistency in Simon Thorn's characterization. I thought this one delved a lot deeper into the animal gam world. It really expanded everything that we learned about in the first book. In the first book, we really only meet these big animals, these really important animals. I don't want to say important because that's discrediting all the important things that other animals do, but I felt like the very well-known ones were the ones that we were seeing, and I think that we get to see some of those animals that are not prominent in when you think of animal, you think of lions and tigers and bears, oh my. In this one, we get to see some other ones like raccoons and small lizards and stuff like that. We get to see a lot more diversity when it comes to the different animals that we get to experience. I really like seeing the animal gams that were outside of this school environment, how they were treated and how they were acting and everything like that. I thought it did a very good job in delving into the dynamic between an upper class group with a lower class group and how they view each other and their ways of interacting. And so as you can see, this book is delving more into bigger topics, more important topics. For instance, if someone has a black parent, a white parent, and they kind of feel in the middle and they don't feel completely accepted by black culture, or they don't feel completely accepted by white culture, that feeling is explored in this book as well, and I really liked seeing that, and I think that it's really important for middle grade readers to be able to take those themes and apply them to their life. So A+ for that. Another pro would be that it fixed one thing, or at least one thing that I had a problem with the first book. In the first book, there's this school that is under the Central Park Zoo, and they never go to class. And at least in this one, there is a class, so I was like, oh, there's a teacher. They actually do go to school. So I really liked that she's incorporating some more in-depth building of that school and that environment, and I thought that that was very necessary and well done. Sort of a con for me is that the first book was really unpredictable. Almost. I don't think it was completely unpredictable, but it did a very good job of playing both sides, and in this book I felt like we kind of knew who the players were and what sides they were on, so it wasn't as surprising in those respects, but I do believe that this book had some twists and turns in it that I didn't completely see coming, so I enjoyed those small twists and turns, but it wasn't going to be able to compare to the first book in terms of not knowing who to trust and everything like that, because we already know who to trust and who not to trust. This is an ARC. I got sent an early copy, so there are some mistakes in here, but I don't know how that compares to the finished copy. I'm hoping that they did correct some of those mistakes. There were just some things where like there wouldn't be a space between 2 words, but I think that they would be able to catch those things. So I'm not going to say that that's a con, but while reading the ARC, obviously there was some mistakes, and I'm assuming that they're not going to be in the finished copy. One con that carried over from my thoughts of the first book into this book was that Simon does not trust the people he's supposed to trust. I just don't get that all the time. I understand it a little bit more in this book. It was better explained in this book why he was making certain decisions and going against what people were saying that he should trust, but it is still a little bit frustrating when it's so obvious that he should be going and following this one thing that he's told to do and he does the opposite. So that hasn't changed, but that just might be a thing that Simon just makes bad decisions. There weren't actually that many cons that I had for this. I'm trying to think of more on the spot and I really just can't do it. So I guess that's all the cons that I had. Overall, I really did enjoy this. I ended up liking this one more than the first one. I still ended up giving it 4 stars, but it was a bit of a stronger 4 stars for me. Also with this book, I think that the way that it ended was really enticing. I really would like to read the next book as soon as I can get my hands on it, because I am really looking forward to seeing the next adventure that all these characters are going to go on, and I'm curious to see how it's going to be done, and I'm hoping that it doesn't become formulaic, because she could take it into a really good direction of mixing it up and having the adventures slightly different, or she could, you know, continue with this formula that she's now set up with this book. I hope she doesn't follow it. I hope she makes different things happen, and I think that she will. So yeah, that's gonna be my review on Simon Thorn and the Viper's Pit by Aimee Carter. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below if you've read this series. Have you read anything by Aimee Carter? What kind of animal would you like to turn into? Any animal in the world? Let me know down below, and I will talk to you guys next time.